Hey everyone, Velma Garns here, also known as the Velminator. That is not how I'm supposed to start this video, so let's try this again. Alright. Is body positivity becoming more toxic? That is what I want to discuss in this video today. So in today's video, I want to talk about how body positivity may have gone too far and how it's okay to love yourself where you are now. Even if you want to change even if you want to change yourself, like, it's okay, which I think is a very great place to start, is loving yourself with where you are now. Hey there, my name is Velma Garns. I'm also known as the Velminator. I teach exclusively low impact, high demand workouts with little time, equipment, and space to women over 40. So I want to talk about the toxicity of body positivity, which is a mouthful to say there. And let me just sort of set a disclaimer out there that everything in this video is my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. Don't come from me. I'm not going to dislike you if you don't agree with me, but these are just some things that I have observed in my years being on the planet and going through all of the trendiness of the body changes and everything like that. So here's the actual Google definition of what body positivity is. Body positivity is a social movement focused on the acceptance of all bodies, regardless of size, shape, skin tone, gender, and physical abilities, while challenging present-day beauty standards as an undesirable social construct. Proponents focus on the appreciation of the functionality and health of the human body instead of its physiological appearance. And I think, to me, that's probably a really good definition that starts this whole thing off. But as someone who's spent, I don't want to put a button there, but I spent the year of COVID gaining an awful lot of weight. I was completely immobile, but that was by choice. It wasn't like something terrible. I mean, I was going through the same thing everyone else was going through, so everyone had a hard time in 2020. So I gained a lot of weight. For me, it was very uncomfortable. It's still uncomfortable. My joints hurt. I can't move around the way I want to move around. So it's not a pleasant experience for me at all. But that doesn't mean I'm not loving myself while I'm on the way to where I want to be. So, and I think that's probably where most of us, or most of the toxicity of body positivity comes from, is there just becomes this standard of a body type. I think we're trying to get out of that. I don't see it happening anytime soon, because I've seen people post because all kinds of body types exist, and it's not just a bigger body type. Like, I get it, we need to be more accepting of that, but it just seems to be, a pendulum starts on one side, and then it sort of swings to the other side, and eventually it's going to have to settle somewhere in between. You know what I mean? So there has to be some sort of balance to this whole body positivity movement. So, let's see. So I don't think setting up camp in a place where it's not healthy for you is a good idea. If you can sort of think of it as a pit stop, and like I said, if you're not happy with your size, it's totally fine for you to change it, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to change wherever it is that you want to end up. And I think that's totally fair. I think when it becomes unfair is when other people judge you for your choice that you're making about the size that you want to be. So, and here's the thing too. If you are lying about being the size that you are, for instance, if you're unhappy with the size that you are, but you're lying about being happy with it, I think that's sort of toxic. And I want to give you an example. I don't know if you remember, a zillion years ago, there was Star Jones, and she's a lawyer, and she was on a show called The View, and she was a very large woman, and when she would talk, she sounded like her breathing was labored. And I remember thinking to myself, that can't feel good, and that can't be very healthy. Like, you could hear her breathing, and you could hear her breathing was labored. So one of the things that she kept doing was she was saying that she was happy with the size that she was, and she's healthy, she's happy, la la la. In my gut, I didn't believe that. And I just felt for her. I just thought, I don't know if I believe that or not. She could have been telling the truth. I don't know, but in my gut, I'm thinking, nah, I don't believe you. But anyway, so as time went on, she kept shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and it was like the elephant in the room. Like nobody was saying anything about how this woman is like totally shrinking. And then to add injury on top of that, she was saying that she wasn't doing anything different than what she was already doing, other than healthy eating, dieting, exercise, that kind of thing. But then of course as time went on, you started to find out that she had gastric bypass surgery, and I'm not judging that, but it's just not coming clean with it. And it's almost, I want to say that's all, it's none of our business either. But if you are someone who is in the public eye and sort of something like that is happening and there's sort of no explanation and things are just sort of rolling along, then I think that's just kind of like, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I think it's totally fair for it to be her business, and go about life as she feels fit. But at the same time, I also think that there's a platform that you could sort of help other people, to guide them along to, if it's something that you want to try. It's a great platform if you have that sort of reach to people to be able to talk yourself through it or talk the audience through it, and maybe you could be helping someone else. But that's just my opinion. Don't come for me. That's just my opinion. And then the other thing is, I don't know if you watched the movie Precious with Gabourey Sidibe and also Monique, were, because the movie had such huge acclaim, it's a really fantastic movie, their weight became a target. I'm not saying that's fair, but they were very large at the time, and I know that Monique was very vocal in saying that she was happy with where she is, and she's this and she's that, and she's a fine woman. Like, I don't disagree with any of that, but also in my gut was saying, I don't know if she's really happy at that weight or with how she feels about herself. I don't know, but what she's saying is that she was. And then of course, as time goes on, you come to find out she's doing things to lose weight or try to become slimmer or become healthier. There was nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, just, if you're unhappy with where you are, I don't understand why people just can't come out and be like, hey, I'm trying to change this. Do you guys want to come along with this ride? Now she's doing that, but she didn't start off that way. And I think, like I said in the beginning, it's none of our business, but at the same time, you're a public figure. I don't know how to feel about that. Like, it is none of our business, but at the same time, don't lie to yourself and trying to say, hey, I'm happy here, blah, blah, blah. So that's all I'm saying with that. Gabourey Sidibe is actually, I don't think she's trying to change her size. I just think she's trying to become healthier and work out and do her thing. She has lost a little bit of weight, but she wasn't as vocal about it, and she sort of still is doing her thing and just trying to exercise and be healthier. And I think that's fantastic. Like, you do you, girl. I think that's really important. The other person was Adele. People came hard after Adele because she just she lost the weight. She wanted to be like, I don't want to be this size anymore. There's nothing wrong with that. She embraced, I think, the size that she was. I don't know if she was comfortable. She didn't seem uncomfortable to me. That's just my opinion. But, as time went on, and all of a sudden you started seeing these pictures, and then people were coming for her because they're like, oh my God, that is not the standard of beauty. Like, you can go back and look at her account and see how vicious people were about her just becoming smaller because that's what she wanted to do. And she did. I can't remember the name of the diet that she used, and I actually also did some research on that. I don't know if she's still on it. I don't know if that's working for her. I don't know, but I know that she is still the same size as when she first posted the picture of her being the much slimmer size. So I see why people want to keep that under wraps and just kind of make the change on their own, because when people come for you, man, they come for you. It's not like, I don't know. But I think that it's none of anyone's business. But when you're in the public eye, I don't know how to approach that. You can't really say, hey, you look fantastic, because it's almost like you're insulting bigger people, and then you can't say, it's just hard. So I struggle with the whole body positivity thing. I think that if you are not comfortable in the skin that you in, it is so possible. And I know I've said this before, it is possible to love yourself where you are and still want to go and change the place that you are to something different for you. And I think that's really important. It's different for everyone. So I've seen where people have posted bigger women, and then everyone's saying, "Hey, you're neglecting the other side of the people that are." Some people are just naturally small; they're naturally thin, and that's just life. Those are the bodies that we're living in. I do appreciate how people are starting to show stretch marks. There are still people that are having this unreal, idealistic body type. They can go on that roller coaster. I don't think it's going to end up in a happy place. But I think the people who are truly embracing just all different sorts of body types, I think is really important. Now, the other side of being large, like how large is too large, because I know a lot of really large people are saying that they are healthy, and I will say that it takes time for inflammation to catch up. So if you are extremely large and things are hurting, and I'm not saying this is everyone who's of larger size, but if you are extremely large, things start to break down. Like inflammation starts to set in, and there's things that are inevitable that are going to happen. It doesn't mean that it's going to show up right now, but eventually, if you are too large or you're carrying around too much weight or it's uncomfortable, things are going to start to break down, and it's going to start to catch up, and it's going to start to make a difference in your activities of daily living. So I will say that about being a larger person. And the other thing that I find very toxic is people judging because people are very large. If you're seeing a larger person, I have been a very large person. I have been a woman of every size, so I know what that's like, and I know how people treat you. Like, it's way different than when you're smaller. Is that something that's going to change anytime soon? I certainly hope so. My mom's a bigger woman, and I certainly, my heart always went out to her. She was basically my first client, and I would train her when I was very, very young, when I first started off into this whole business. So I have a very